Alright, we're back for another video. Hope you guys had an amazing weekend of shows, back from the road, putting in some long hours, maybe doing some Sunday services at your church. Can I just say, if you're mixing Sunday services for your church and they're not paying you, make them pay you. It doesn't have to be an astronomical amount. But if you're worth half your weight in salt as an engineer, they should be paying you. And there's enough money flowing through those institutions to be able to pay you something for mixing their Sunday services. But I had someone question and comment about the effects I like to use on my mixes. So I thought we'd go over that real quick today. We'll start with bus 13. I have the vintage Verb, usually not anything longer than about a second of decay. If it's a ballad and there's larger gaps between snare hits, I'll go 1.5, 2 seconds. But typically I like to keep it nice and tight. And when I'm ringing out my mics for the room, I ring them out dry, and it looks like this mic needed some help around 2K and again around 8K. Once I've ring out my mics dry, I then go back through effect by effect, and I'll really push it up and then ring out my mic playing EQ to my effects bus. So it looks like around 600 Hertz, there was a low mid node there, and again around 4K, looked like it was trying to cut through. And I'll do that for each effect. The second effect I like to use is the stereo delay. Nothing too crazy or creative here. I like to keep the delay factor, they call it, right around a quarter note. Sometimes I'll do 3/8 and a quarter to create a kind of nice slappy stereo thing, and I'll go up to half note, but that's the longest usually delay I'm using unless I'm trying to create some sort of ethereal effect. And it looks like we EQ'd again a bunch of 600 out of that and 2K out of that. Those are just the frequencies that room with those effects wanted to feed back at. So again, you'll take your vocal mic and find those frequencies and cut them out. And the third effect I've been using a lot lately is the Delay+Chorus. I'm not really using this for delay, and I'm not really using it for chorus. It creates a very nice shimmery effect. Something that it has the added benefit of is when I get my playback tracks for the band, they're always just a mono track right up the center. There's no width to them whatsoever. So what we can do is take some of that, push it up here so you guys can hear it. And I'm going to take out my effects. So you can hear how dry and center my mix is. So what I like to do with that delay chorus is push my mono playback track into that, and it automatically creates this great wide playback track. Keep the delay nice and tight so it doesn't get too weird and washed out, but hopefully you guys can hear. Taking out my effects really collapses my mix down. And then the other thing I thought I'd show you guys today is sometimes the playback tracks the band gives me are, way too heavy in the bass or way too heavy in the high end. They're generally not balanced very well between the low end and the high end. So I'll take my tracks, I'll high pass it just so I get all the treble out of it. And then if the channel count will allow me, I'll go ahead and soft patch it onto another channel low pass that, so basically nothing's coming out of that but the bass. And then I effectively just have my bass player on a fader. So the way you want to do that is go over to one of your empty channels I'm on channel 19 today, but it could be channel 31. Go over to one of those channels, hit the home button, come over to config. On the left hand side you're going to see the source input. Now typically, since I'm on channel 19, that would be channel 19, but because I want to duplicate channel 15 where my tracks are coming from, I'm telling it that its source is now channel 15. And so the track is now showing up in two spots, on channel 15 and on channel 19. And again, I've low passed one and high passed the other. And we can just listen to those. So I have my bass and I have my high end, independent of one another. So then the other thing I was thinking I'd show you, especially if you're using a small system where our sub package is, you know, always wanting to be able to keep up. You know, maybe you have a Mackie K sub or 2K subs, but the subs are just trying to keep up with all the low end information. One thing I like to do is to duck my bass player or the low end of my tracks. And the way we do that is we come over to our bass player or our low end. We're going to initiate our gate, but we're going to set the mode to duck. And then we're going to set the key source to our kick drum. In this case, my kick drum is on channel 1, so I've set the key source to channel 1. Now, every time that kick drum hits, on my bass player or my bass tracks, the gate is going to shove the volume down every time the kick drum hits. And you can set that range. I've got it at 14 decibels. So every time the kick drum hits, the bass player is being knocked down 14 decibels for 100 milliseconds, a fraction of a second. But that gives your subs enough time to get the kick drum out and then have the bass come back in, and it's not trying to do everything all at once. So that's just a short video showing you guys some of the effects I like to use and a couple tricks about splitting your playback tracks, creating a stereo playback track out of a mono, and ducking your bass player or your bass tracks to help your sub package keep up. Hope you guys enjoyed that video. Stay tuned, we'll have more coming soon. If you guys are enjoying the videos watching, make sure you hit subscribe. Help our channel grow. We'll see you soon.